Hello, one and all. It's your pal Drew Dracy, and time for comics from my spinner rack. Well, I came across this a while ago. I had purchased this way back in the day, but I had made several moves, to another apartment, then another house, and I lost some of my books. So it's hard to tell with this lettering. I hate the lettering. It doesn't contrast well. But it's Peter David who was writing this version of Captain Marvel, and Jim Starlin returns with Al Milgrom, and they collaborated on the art chores of Captain Marvel, the Kree one, during the 70s. So it was really exciting to see them back 20 years later. Oof, 20 years later. So long ago. And I hated this shit. I just hated it. And also because it's like, then you have this gap here. It's just annoying. But at the time, Marvel was hurting. I don't think Joe Quesada had come to save the day yet. But look at this classic Starlin. And this is why we love Marvel. Not to mention he has the greatest hair in comics. Him and Adam Warlock, they get the same hair, but easily the best hair. So you even get the Silver Surfer. And there's some wacky stuff with, it's a Peter David book, so there's got to be a lot of comedy in there. Rick Jones kind of, giving him the raspberry. This is the son of Captain Marvel, and his name is Genis, Genis. For a brief while, he appeared with a different costume, and it had a jacket on it, and had it really wasn't that interesting visually. So, really cool stuff. I love this version. In fact, they have an omnibus of this version, because Chris Cross was the artist on most of the issues, and he did a phenomenal job. That was like his first coming out big time for, for comics. It was like, hey, there's a guy named Chris Cross, and check him out. Here we go. Look at that classic art fight, Starlin and Milgrom. It's like David knew that, let's give the fans what they want. And want some really cool shots of the classic Marvel. Boy, that's pretty. And the classic several panels without borders. Oh, this is really going to hurt. And he steps back. In my universe, you died of cancer. How did you know I have cancer? You do here too? I mean, yes, I contracted it during a fight with Nitro. That's right. So finally, Captain Marvel realizes that this is an impersonator of Marvel, but his son from another dimension, or another multiverse, since that seems to be the big name, the big word these days. The touchstone. And here comes the Magus, which is the evil side of Warlock. And man, that is so touching there. There's so much I want to tell you, but I don't want to leave you. That's my wife laughing or she's cheering at the Georgia game in the other room. But it broke the mood, man. You won't, not ever. I tell you to make me proud, but I know you already have, son. That's just great. I wonder who owns that page, because that's like beautiful page, and it's just got so much heart to it. I have a son. I couldn't bring myself to tell him the whole truth. I couldn't tell him that Thanos had already succeeded in large measure, that my greatest battle, my greatest triumph was also my greatest failure, that Thanos had already wiped out all life in our galaxy. I saved the rest of the universe, but everyone I had known, ever loved, is gone. I'm lost. And though I was to die, forgotten, alone, shrouded in my failure, my life nothing, but promise unfulfilled. And then I met him, and learned that somewhere a part of me and of Elysius lives on and will remember me. No one could ask more, than that. Not even a dying man named Captain Marvel. Wow. Beautiful issue. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we jump to DC, and we get us a twofer for Blue Beetle by Len Wein and Gil Kane kicking ass on that. You know, this is me being a dick to a living legend like Gil Kane, but that arm with the tangent just looks really odd. It cuts it off, but you know, maybe lift the arm a little higher, but then I don't know. That's just me. So you get right. I mean, Kane's doing the whole book, so it's and with a tip of the hat to Joe Gill, Tony Tallarico, DC Glansman, and Steve Ditko, who walked in these shoes before us. What's funny is Tallarico, I've got a lot of Tallaricos on my dad's side up north, like around Connecticut and such. So it starts off with the original Blue Beetle, who knows Ted Kord. Now, I don't recall if there was any connection in the past. I do have the Action Heroes Archives, which covers all the Blue Beetle, reprints all the Blue Beetle books, that of Ted Kord. But this is the original guy. What's his name again? I gotta look at. Let me see. Okay, Garrett, Dan Garrett. That's right. So, sarcophagus comes across the Beetle. Then I love the multi images floating around in one panel, and he's told he's got the power of the Blue Beetle. It's kind of like Moon Knight's origin later on, but also a little sidebar here. Roy Thomas created the Scarlet Scarab in issue 23 of The Invaders, the book that took place during World War II with Captain America and Namor and the Torch, and he said he came up with that as Marvel's version of the original Blue Beetle. And it was great because Roy would do a lot of these analogs because he didn't want to lose any rights coming up with from whole cloth creating a character and giving it to Marvel. So very pragmatic. You got this cool ribs showing, cool abs. Really great action. I really enjoyed this. And Len really tied this all together. And some adventures. I love that gun. It's free-handed completely. I totally dig that. No straight edges. I can do that now, but I couldn't when I started out in the industry. Sometimes I'm just like, you know, that straight edge is just right out of my reach. I don't want to bother. And sorry. This was neat. This was a mini-series that bridged the original series with George Perez's version, and that's only because the copyright is by the creator, William Marston Marden, and for DC to keep the license, they had to, every 6 months, there had to be a Wonder Woman comic out. There had to be, so this was kind of filling the area, and it's pretty cool too, because Trina Robbins, I mean, she's a legend in comics, feminist comics, and just in general fun stuff. So here's Ted Kord trying to help Dan Garrett, to no avail. So he does the thing where you work out with the weights. There's something here. Yeah. Okay, that he takes various pieces. He cannibalizes some of his some of the stuff he's been working on. He's a mechanic. Comes over with the bug. And glorious shot there. Hoo-ah. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, get ready for the opposite. I picked this up at the $2 bin at Dave's Comics and Collectibles in Fayetteville, Georgia. And it's Frank Chirocco. I don't know Gary Winnick, and he's not related to Judd Winnick from the Real World. Frank Chirocco. I picked this up right just because of that. And it's black and white, which is fine. I love this spread. I love how photo stats of the cars are underneath that. And it's too bad that it's separate, but I understand. You can afford paper now. This is black and white. I mean, shiny paper. the storytelling is by Frank Chirocco, but the art is very different. And that's because Gary Winnick is doing the pencils and inks and the layouts. Only the layouts are by Frank Chirocco, if I'm saying that wrong, or Sirocco, and design. So script was also by Chuck Austin. Oof, that guy. And Diane Valentino probably did the lettering. Because when I first saw this book, I thought, oh, well, maybe, maybe Chirocco did this, years before Alien Legion. There's a lot of, like, Jugger Grimrod in this guy's face. And there's some pages that are good, and then there's some that are kind of not that strong. I loved Ankama. So here's where it starts to get a little kind of average. It's still fun. And here's the other thing too, is with the gray tones, it sort of feels like it was intended for color, and then they couldn't afford it, so they went with black and white. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's not as bad as those Dreadstar collections that they did in the 2000s that were shot from color pages printed in black and white. So, but it's interesting. It's not bad. I don't know if there's any others. Oh, this is great. Slave Labor Comics was fairly new, and a lot of Evan Dorkin books got published through Slave Labor, whether it was Pirate Corps or whether it was Dork and other stuff. So I love this. It's Beckham, and I'm assuming it's Mark Beckham who does all that cheesecake stuff, and finished by Dan Votto, who was, I think he was in charge of Slave Labor graphics. And then you got Samurai Penguin. This is when they still had Ninja Turtle ripoffs, but it's okay. I wanted to like it a lot more, but maybe if it was, Inferior 5, I was always interested in this group. 20 cents. I thought this book, okay, it's issue 5, but I thought these guys came like in the late 60s. But E. Nelson Bridwell and Joe Orlando and Mike Esposito are doing this. It's really nice. It's really good looking. It's not laugh out loud funny, but it's clever. And, it's a good read. That's half the battle right there, is have a good read. So, here's Merryman. And there is, what's his name? I gotta see. Oh, he's a heavyset guy, yeah. And there he is. The Blimp. And there's Dumb Bunny. And the White Feather. Oop. Give me a second. One of my dogs is poking at the water bowl. I'd be a bad daddy if I didn't give him his water. So, hang in there, everybody. So, like that. And now she's lapping the water. So we get us a version of the Hulk, which is pretty fun. I love Joe Orlando's art on here. He's penciling and inking himself. So there's this woman who has hypnotic powers, this evil person. And Dumb Bunny is not necessarily dumb. She says, hey, I just remember something my mama told me about you, sister. She said she licked you by closing her eyes so that you couldn't use your evil eye powers against her. Your mother, Princess Power, you could never figure that out by yourself. So, geez. But then again, if you're, if your name is Dumb Bunny as a superhero name, that's, you open yourself up to a lot of grief. That's really nice stuff there. It's fun. I like the way the figure is. He's like a big dumpy version of the Hulk, but it's Orlando's kind of he's kind of doing sort of a touch of Kirby, I guess you might say. Actually, it might be more like Ditko's version. That's kind of Kirby-ish. So. And it ends with a Napoleon joke. It's not really that funny, but it's, ooh, the imposters. That looks cool. What year did this come out? Wait a second. 1972. Huh. I wonder if there's like a reboot that's a reprint or something, but... So I had like no expectations for this. I've avoided this like the plague. This came out in 84 or 85 when Marvel just decided, okay, we'll put everything into a miniseries. It just got ridiculous. You had Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, which was a decent story, but, the art was very unappealing. And then, what was it? Kitty Pryde became like a ninja, and it was never followed up. It's like she just kind of went back to being Kitty Pryde. So, beautiful Bill Sienkiewicz cover, and early credit from Ann Nocenti. She was an assistant editor on X-Men, and she became editor on a lot of books, I think including X-Men, when Louise Jones / Simonson started writing. So, this is early stuff, and it's strong already, Don Perlin, he's super fast, and depending on the inks, it could be strong or it could be average, but Kim DeWalder does a nice job on it. George Roussos, colorist, he colored all the classic Marvel characters. So we have Dr. Doom. I love that. And here's something really odd. I didn't buy the whole miniseries, but I may, because I was shocked at how much I liked this. I thought it was going to be crap, because Dazzler, and if it was just a Beast, I'd be okay, but Dazzler just turned me off with her own series. So anyway, this is interesting. I did not know about this story. It says, "Sire, a transmission. It concerns the one who claims to be your son. That presumptuous gnat. You shatter my cherished solitude to remind me of him, the base liar that affronts me with his heresy about blood and of doom courses through his veins." In the show, I like when they do, a monochrome color for flashbacks. A lie fostered by his wretched mother many years ago. But Lord, only since your recent return to Latveria have I been able to inform you of your son's existence. You've been away so many years. No more of your foul lies, woman. Only boundless mercy of doom permits you to, and that crying whelp, to leave here with your lives, never return. Doom must ever lead his people, confront his enemies, pursue his destiny alone. Doom must have no son. So he has reached adulthood and is in California, and I must keep an eye on that infantile American dreamland. I love it. It's like Anne is like totally going. She's committing to the bit and making it like some of the most. It's like Doom uses 12 words where 2 would suffice. And I love it. It's like she's totally getting into the melodrama. Now, this threw me off for a second. When I read this, I was thinking of Christoph, who was the kid whose family died, who was a Latvian kid, and Doom took him under his wing and was teaching him stuff. And then later on came up with this really evil plan of in the event of Doom's death, that his mind... I can't remember. The kid would become the next Doctor Doom until that Doom came back somehow. And this isn't the case. This is a whole different thing. So I may end up buying it. I was really, but that's like that's all you see of Doom. I mean, for this issue. By the way, that splash page, really nice. Really, I like the cross hatching here. DeMulder uses, it's like his name's right there and I can't say it. So you got the Beast. He's with the Defenders at the time, which had also Iceman and Angel. So, which was really cool. And then Moondragon and Valkyrie. That's so funny. Tiger's Place. He was the most dangerous, filthy, what do you call? Not just filthy, but just like real... what's the word? Controversial comedian in 1970, and all of a sudden, 1984, he's this family-friendly character. And he even did a couple he was in Superman 3, and he was just playing a goofball scientist. It's just so funny to see something like that. So, anyway, the Dazzler. She's being schmoozed. She is a mutant, and it's coming out, and some people are applauding her. This guy's trying to, I don't know, like basically sort of represent her, but kind of use her as well. And I know I'm skimming over a lot of this, but it's a good read. Cartoons of this era. Snorks, Smurfs. I mean, they were all like, I don't know, awful. Well, her powers are out of control. And Beast is trying to help her. I love under her eyes. It's like she just looks like she hasn't slept in weeks. So I may end up getting the rest of this. I was much pleased. So that's it for this week. Boop. And boop. And bloop. Now, if you have anything to add, if I've turned you on to some books that you're interested in, let me know in the comments below. Let me know your first impression of any of these characters, what other books you've seen. I'd love to hear personal stories about, people who discover certain comics. And, and if you have any, back info for me that would help, flesh out so much that was going on in all these books, feel free to mention it. I love getting comments. I really do. And also, aside from enjoying reading them as a fellow fanboy, I am still a fanboy. I'm staring down the barrel of 60. And, I love to, share with this kind of stuff. And also, it does help the visibility of my channel. It's really dumb. I even hate saying it, but that's the way it is. So anyway, wishing you all the very, very best, and talk to you later. Bye.